Hey everybody, welcome back to our neck of the woods. So this is part 2 of finishing up the front porch and the front of the house, and we will 100% be finishing up the roof in this video because frankly I kinda already got it done. So we left off in part 1 that I only had the lift for 2 days, and what ended up happening kind of made no sense to me. Somebody else rented this lift a few days or weeks prior to me getting it on that Saturday and Sunday, and that is not the same lift. He rented this exact same lift as I rented it, but he needed it for Monday, but the location that I got it from, that's the one they sent to him, but this one came from the other location down the street. So I'm not sure why the company felt the need to come and get this one, deliver it to his house, only then to go up there and get that one and deliver this one to me. It would have made sense to me to just let me keep this lift and take the one from the other location and give it to him, unless maybe he was really far away. But the two locations I don't think are that far off, but we only lost basically a day of not having a lift. So on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I got all of the porch done, all of the roofing done. The only thing that I still have to finish off is the ice and water shield on this side, because I have run out today and I haven't gone and picked up more yet because we have got some nasty weather in the forecast. So that's good enough. Anything that leaks up in there is just gonna fall on the old existing roof underneath of the porch, come on down just like it always has, and it's really not gonna cause any damage or get anything wet really, because even where I cut back on the overhang here, which still all needs cut off, just for that first truss over there and over there, those are under waterproofing now. So again, anything that leaks down through the main crack here right in the middle is just going to leak on down, hit those boards, and come off to the front door like it always has. And again, we're basically waterproofed at this point. So the storms look bad again tomorrow on Saturday. Again, it's Friday, October 15th. So probably not going to get anything done tomorrow either. So probably just go in and work at one of the hospitals. And we should be good for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday that I have this lift till. That we should hopefully be able to get it, or actually no, till Tuesday, because that's when they delivered it. So I've got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday to get all the shingles on, which I think is more than enough time, and 2 or 3 more rows of ice and water shield, and then we should be good to go. Now, the only thing that I still have to do up in here though, and I can do that on a ladder, which is basically sitting up there now, is I called the engineer, and when I'm up on the roof, it feels a little bouncy to me. So even though for the first 3 rafters, we went up to 2x8s, and then we used 2x6s for the remaining 4, the roof still feels like it's bouncing a little bit. So I didn't know if we need some sort of bracing, or they're called collar ties. It's basically almost like putting in a gusset, where you take a 2x4 or 2x6 and attach that rafter over to that rafter, so you make a triangle. And he said that's not really going to matter because the bottoms are already locked in over here. The best bet for you to do is probably find out where a original truss is, like one right here, going that way, and coming straight down from the rafter down to the old existing roof. Again, where a truss is, just put a 2x4. So that way, that 2x8 doesn't have room to really flex down. You just bring one, nail it, face nail it, side nail it right into the 2x8, bring it straight down over top of one of the trusses. I'll have to cut an 8/12 pitch on that 2x, and then we can nail down through the 2x, through the sheathing, and almost basically into the existing truss over there, and that will basically support that up. And we can go ahead and do that really for only the 2x8s. I don't think it was that bouncy with that single 2x6, but if I need to put a little guy in there, that's not that big of a deal to kind of go halfway. It looks like we'll hit this truss right here, and then that way the roof will really be stiff, and we shouldn't have any sagging over time. And then other than that, the only thing that we have to do is I did find out that We are gonna have to figure out a little bit of ventilation in here. Now, since we're gonna be building a kind of a retaining wall up in here so that this gemstone can go all the way up to the peak of that first truss, we gotta put some 2x4s that will go from that truss down, like say every 16 inches on center, so that way we can attach some sheathing to it and completely wall that off. He did recommend to go ahead and that we still need to cut some ventilation in there. Easiest way that is we literally just need to cut in some really big holes in like 2 spots on the other side of that wall in that gap up in there, so that way any of the attic air can leak up through a big giant hole, get up in here, and then it'll escape out the ridge cap up top for, again, that closed section off of the porch. And that will only help, again, with ventilation. We're still gonna do some soffits over here and some soffits over here, so air can still leak up in here under this roof decking and go up, and it can travel up that way also, but we're basically gonna tie in the roof attic, or the home's attic, with out here's attic. The only thing I want to really make sure that I do is we really block everything off just like we did on all the other soffits, so that way no animals or birds or bugs or anything are getting up through these soffits. Now they have full access to the porch, and then they can see a gaping hole in the attic of the house, and they can get down in, then they'd be in the attic of the house. So we just need to make sure that we're really blocking everything off and making everything secure out here. And I think that's it. It's gonna remain like this for probably a while. Again, the 2x4 braces up in there and some sheathing won't be that big of a deal. And we gotta get some sheathing on this outside very first truss too. I don't know yet what we're 100% gonna use to put up in there. I'm thinking just like a tongue and groove board that will just go all the way across, and that will make a roof in there or a ceiling. And we do need a light fixture up in there, or a light box, so whatever we want to hang down in this porch so that we can see like a chandelier or a big fan if we're sitting out here. Aaron had mentioned like a porch swing. It would make sense that we don't get a lot of airflow in here because of all the trees, that if you did put a giant fan hanging down there, that it would cool you off in the summertime as you're sitting on your front porch and just watching the view. So I will probably see you guys back Sunday when this weather blows over. It's gonna be here in a minute, and then I think it's gonna go on for a good 24 hours. But we'll be back with finishing up the front side fascia boards out here. And I think I still have to do this side over here, yeah, and along with a little bit of drip edge. And I also have to go pick up some more zip tape so that way I button everything up 100%. And then we can get started on shingling. So probably Sunday afternoon, we'll be able to start shingling and get everything done. And then we can officially call this house 100% waterproofed. Hey everybody, so it's actually Saturday, not Sunday, and there's no rain in the forecast, which is actually surprising because it said they were supposed to be lightning, thunder, and 2 days ago somebody posted there was even supposed to be like tornadoes coming through, but that didn't happen. And we're gonna get the roof on the day, or at least get started. Last night though, as it was getting dark, I did quickly put up those 2x4 braces up in there. So like I said, they're about halfway on each one of those 2x8s. The very first 2x8 rafters, I did go ahead and put up those collar ties. Not saying they're actually gonna do anything, but it's kind of like a gusset, just tying that side into that side. And then there's another one right there for the first 2. I really don't have a 2x6 long enough to go for the third one, but I don't think that's really gonna be that big of a deal, because by the time you get halfway up on that third 2x8, you already got a brace down there. And we are putting them basically over top of trusses. So that 2x8 is just going right down to the decking. But again, it's going right down over top of a truss, so all of the weight is transferred down there. So I'm gonna move the lift real quick. I'm gonna knock 3 more 2x8s down over here on this side. That way when we start putting up the roof on this side, obviously we're not pre-sagging it, because obviously shingles are pretty heavy. So let's move the lift, let's get over there, do 3 more supports, and then we'll get started on shingles. Hey everybody, welcome back for another day. It is Sunday, as promised. Yesterday I didn't get any filming done. It was super windy, cold, a lot of overcast, Luckily it didn't rain and the tornadoes never came like they said. But today you can see we got a heck of a lot done, or a decent amount. That's probably, I don't know, 25% of the roof. We've got this much of the porch done up to here. Right now today, I've got to finish off a piece of trim down here, and then the flashing that will go underneath of it or over it. And then unfortunately, because today is Sunday, I do not have enough ice and water shield to kind of finish this side over here. And then I don't have a piece that will go up and over for the ridge caps. So kind of can't do much except come up to about here and stop, get up in there and stop. And then we can transition over here and kind of go up through there and do kind of the same thing. But then tomorrow on Monday, we're gonna have to get the ice and water shield and actually finish over here. So for today, you guys will be on my head, and we'll try to get some of this knocked out right now, and then just go over some more Atlas shingles here, and we'll go from there. Now the beauty about that cut, we can just take this, reverse it onto the other side, and it'll be equal, so that we can run all the way down now. All right, I will not attach this one yet. I'll leave this kind of hanging so that way we can do the ice and water shield. But at least with this side, again, we can go ahead and ice and water shield up to about here. And then Aaron is bringing home some more zip tape so we can kind of flash this out down here. And then we should be good to go for today. We can go ahead and just knock this out now. All right, so if you guys aren't new to the channel, you'll know that I'm using Atlas shingles. And the reason why I went with Atlas is basically just because they're the biggest shingle out there. So these guys are 42 inches long and they're 14 inches tall. So what that means is each bundle is still around 32, 33 square foot a bundle, but because they're 3 inches longer and an inch or so taller on the main roofs themselves in particular, that's 3 less rows that we have to do. They also achieve 130 mile-an-hour wind force by only using 4 nails. I'm using 5 just because it's easy to kind of hit the middle end to end, and then 2 in the middle, and that probably increases the speed a little bit. I think if you lived in like Miami, for example, you still would have to do, I think a 6 nail pattern is required, so that way you can achieve like 150 mile-an-hour winds or something. Obviously stop me if I'm wrong, but I think it does depend on your jurisdiction how many nails they do want. But that's not bad, 130 miles an hour just for 4 nails, and that probably is because these guys are so big. And I don't know if the weight is any difference. These are the pristine line. There is a Storm Master above these ones that are a lot more expensive. So I don't know if the Storm Masters are just a heck of a lot thicker or if they use different material, but that is a different option. And they do make some that are even way cheaper than the pristine also. So the other thing that I like, what I'm doing right now is, with a regular shingle being like 39 inches or something weird, you have to cut off as you stagger on up, like odd numbers. That's just really hard to do. Well, with Atlas, you take a full shingle like we have one right there, and then you cut off 6 inches and install that one. Then take another one and cut off 12 inches, install that one. Take another one, cut off 18 inches, and then you install that one. And then you're left over with that 6, 12, and 18. And then that makes row 4 for the 18, the 12, and the 6. And then if you get another one on there as you work on out, you've got a full row again that you can put over top of that. So basically you can go up 7 rows at a time, and then as you go on down, it just makes it a hell of a lot faster and getting the job done easier. And like I said, all you have to remember is 6, 12, and 18, which is super easy. And if you just saw what I did there, I just mark out my 6, mark out my 6. I kind of use my tape measure as a line there, score a line, and then I'm ready to go to just go ahead and cut this 6 inches off. Now, one thing I have noticed with Atlas is they are really easy to cut. So it's almost like the material is too thin, or they just know that at 6, 12, and 18, you're not having to cut through a double part. It doesn't always happen like that, but when you are cutting just through a single, they are extremely, extremely easy to cut through. The only thing that has made me mad about Atlas is every so often you get several bundles where the tape is not in the right spot versus the glue, and two shingles will be offset too much. So as you go to take the shingle off, the glue is actually sticking to this part and you can't get it off. You rip it and you tear it, and then you basically lose a shingle. So I don't know why that happens. The bundles look completely straight and symmetrical, so I don't think it's that the bundles like shifted. I think it's just a manufacturing process that they're just assembling them a little bit off or something. But that's the only thing that does suck, that has been my biggest pet peeve with these, is every now and again you'll get a bundle that you just can't pull any of the shingles off from each other. All right, that's it. Now you've got 6 rows ready to go, and you can start off on an end. And installing these or any 3D shingle is extremely easy. All you're doing is lining up your edge with the starter strip that I just did. Now I will bring all these up and turn them over so they're right side up. But like I said, with any 3D shingle, all you're doing is putting the bottom here in line with that, and you're making sure you're good up here. And then it's smartest to kind of go as far down as you can. For example, I wouldn't find this line under here and under here and call that straight. I would go all the way down to the edge, so that way you're finding it smooth there, you're smooth there, you look good up here, you're ready to go. Now the only thing I am kind of worried about is last night it got down into the 50s. Today is only supposed to get into the 60s. And then the rest of the week on the nights, it's gonna get down into the 40s. So I'm hoping that sun, and with it being a very sunny day for the next 4 days with no major weather in the forecast, I'm really hoping that sun can heat this glue up, especially over here, which the sun's already hitting it. Hopefully it's still high enough that it's not too far over in the south sky, that when it gets up to about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, the sun is hitting these and is actually starting to melt the tar. Because last night as I was finishing up, it was like 50 degrees out. Again, it was cold and windy, and I was using the leaf blower up here to get all the little stones off and the leaves, and the tiles were completely flapping up. So these tiles can be installed. Sorry, the compressor kicked on. I think the package says you can install these down to like 40 degrees, but below that or around 40, I think you have to use a glue or a tar to basically glue these down. So that way in the winter time, they're actually not flopping around if you do get a storm. But because these are black, they probably are absorbing a hell of a lot of heat. So just out of curiosity, yeah, see, they're not sticking yet. Although that got a little sticky. No, they're gonna need several days and sun like this to really start heating these up. They are pretty hot though to the touch, so hopefully in the next couple hours that'll happen. And then again, hopefully the sun gets down in here and actually gets these guys to glue down, so I don't have to worry about strong winds pulling them up. But luckily, most of the wind does come from the west and not from the east, so we shouldn't have really that big of winds going this way. But we've got 4 days of nothing but sunshine in the forecast. So again, fingers crossed, that's good enough that even though it's gonna get down to like 40 at night, that we'll go ahead and get enough sun and enough heat into these to get them to start sticking a little bit. We've made it over back to the valley, and I mentioned this in the gutter video that's still not out yet. But I am super happy with the look and performance of this weave pattern instead of doing a metal valley flashing. The more and more I look at houses with that metal valley flashing, it looks like it just rusts over time and looks like crap. But the good thing about the weave pattern, I think it looks awesome, but it also really slows down on the water flow. If that was a metal valley flashing right there, that water flow from all the way up there to all the way down there would be so fast. Even in the corner of that gutter, if we put a splash shield on there, I think that is such a long valley at probably 30 some feet that the water would be going so fast that it would constantly be wanting to splash and hit that gutter shield and trying to spill over and stuff. So when you use the asphalt shingles, it really slows down on the water, almost like a plinko effect. And that way it'll drop down in there nice and calmly and then go out through the gutters and then down the downspout. So weave pattern, definitely a better look in my opinion. And if you're looking at this jumbled mess, seeing how I'm doing it, basically Atlas wants you to get enough shingle. If right here, let's say, is the dead of the valley, you need enough shingle over to here, and they don't want you putting nails within about 6 inches of the valley. So that right about there is the minimum. That way, if water is trying to come up through here and pick this up and get under there, and trying to ice dam back up through here, which we shouldn't have any ice damming if you have a properly sealed attic where the heat from the house is not getting up into attic and heating up the shingles. But that is why you need to put a ice and water shield within a valley and an ice and water shield down around the edges, because as the heat from the house escapes up into the attic and melts snow on the roof, well, if they think down in valleys or within the first 2 rows down where the overhangs are seeing ambient air come up through, while the house air is a lot hotter. So as the snow melts, it goes down there, hits the overhang, which is ambient temperatures, and let's say ambient's like 5 degrees Fahrenheit, that snow or that water will actually melt, forming an ice dam down at the bottom, and then that water will continue to come on down there as it's getting melted and keep hitting that ice, and the ice will continue to build up and will actually start working its way back up the roof, forming an ice dam. And what they're worried about is when you don't have an ice and water shield, the ice will actually go under a shingle and actually start pushing up under here. Well, if it gets under a shingle and back to about here, then of course now you've got ice and water directly on your sheathing. So the ice and water shield for 2 rows is supposed to stop that if ice does and water does get back up under here from an ice dam, it hits the ice and water shield. This is waterproof. It'll then just remelt over time, go down underneath all of your shingles, and then it will go down and out behind your gutters. So that's 2 important reasons why. 1, ice and water shield down on your first 2 rows. And then you want to really seal that drip edge or that gutter edge that the gutters will go up and behind. You want to seal that so any water that does go down the ice and water shield will drip out behind the gutters, but all of that will be nice and waterproofed. So that way you're not rotting out your fascia board and stuff like that. So that is why they're doing that. But as you can see, because I haven't had my roof on for 8, 9, 10 months, I put the ice and water shield all over everything. So it doesn't matter if these shingles ever fail one day, I've got a 100% waterproof all in through here. Water can leak under all of these shingles if one of these fails or gets damaged, and my sheathing pretty much is protected for life. So back to the valley real quick. As you can see, this side was our last side. This side ended over here. So we're basically just going to bring this guy up over here and get it kind of lined up. Now this is kind of overkill. I could probably cut 12 inches, 18 inches off of this one right here and save it. But I've been finding out that really isn't the case, because you really end up just using the 18 and the proper sizes over there when you cut them. So it doesn't really matter. All right, now you got a nice weave over here. So this one though will have to be cut, because this shingle right here, you can see, just barely made it over the center of the valley. So this one right here, we're gonna have to probably cut a 12-inch piece probably. We could probably do 18, but 12 is probably enough that we'll put a 12-incher in here, and then the next shingle will be able to run and stop up here, and that gets out of the valley far enough. And there you go. That's how you do your valley. Like I said, you'll definitely be wasting a bundle or 2 doing all this, especially with such a long valley. But in the end, I think it just looks better to have this instead of a metal, and I think it'll last a lot longer too. The only problem I should say about lasting longer is on my property. I've been blowing this off for the last 2 days. Leaves love to accumulate in there, and because it is more sticky than metal, the leaves do stick around. And because it rained 2 days ago, you can hopefully see these leaves definitely left some nasty residue, although that's also sawdust from when I was up here cutting. So you're probably going to get some stains in through here, which you're not supposed to get staining on these, but it's not really mold growth. It's just that that is where a dead leaf was sitting for too long. The rain washed it, hit it on here, and then unfortunately it's left that. So that is probably a downside to the weave pattern that I can see, but I don't know. Out here, what are you gonna do? I got this side of the house pretty much done. We're missing kind of up there a little bit at the peak, and then I transitioned, started over on this side, but unfortunately I ran out of that drip edge right there. So that last like 7 feet right there or so is kind of give me a problem that it's gonna be a little bit hard to not nail those outside starter shingles and the outside shingles over here. So unfortunately, that's kind of all I got done. So I'm gonna wake up bright and early tomorrow, go get ice and water shield, go get one more piece of drip edge there, and then we can go ahead and shoot up there and finish all that out. Now, if you're wondering, what the hell am I doing right now? As I said, we need to get rid of some trees. So this guy, that guy, and this ugly guy here. Well, this tree had a hell of a lean into the house. So I've got a big 16,000 pound lift, might as well use it to my advantage. So I'm gonna try and fall it right in, kind of right in through here. So right where I am, but I'm gonna use the lift after I kind of make a cut in here to make it fall this way. I'll start back cutting it this way, but I'm gonna use the lift to kind of just give it a little bit of a push. And luckily you can control everything down in here. So I just did it on this one, worked great. This tree's a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier, but let's do a first cut in here, and then we will give it a little bit of a push and start back cutting it. Oh, this tree had to go too. Look at that freaking hole in there that those carpenter ants. I knew this was a problem down around this one, and I think it was another one, kind of like what they're doing to this one over here. It almost had like a big hole in there like that, and the carpenter ants went up through. And I think these silver maples are probably pretty tasty. There was a tree right here that I uprooted, and when I had an excavator out here. But yeah, that tree could go at any time probably with a strong enough wind. Again, just because of the fact that, man, that's probably a 2-inch plus hole in there right through the middle of it that they just went up through and ate the whole damn thing. So yeah, let's give this thing a little bit more of a push. Then I'll put a back cut on here, and then hopefully we can get this guy to fall right over through there. What do you think? Not bad. Maybe I would have wanted it a couple inches over that way, but it fell, and holy crap, look at the hole in there. I don't even know how this tree was still alive. I mean, that's at least 3 inches in diameter that carpenter ants completely destroyed that tree. Now that has me worried about every one of these ones, all these big ones. This guy right here has got a great lean this way. A couple over there do. This one technically isn't dead. There is one branch right there that's still living, but this massive guy right here is going to take out somebody's car one day. But yeah, so that's 2 down that we can make safe. So I guess the last one is this guy right here. We'll move the lift back over, and then hopefully we can just give one hell of a push this way that we can fall back in through here. And then that should be the last one that I should have to worry about the house. Only thing is maybe, just maybe, this branch right here. That's got a little bit of overhang, but I don't think it's actually over the house yet. Yeah, we should be good. This branch still right in here on this guy. Anything that falls is gonna fall right here. So we're not quite over the house yet, but this guy's kind of a problem. Although we just need to make sure we have one hell of a push with the bucket, and we cut this, back cut this slowly, because this guy could potentially take out the stairs right here. Now, just real quick, if any of you are wondering why I'm not up there and just taking branches off, I went up there, and I'm sorry, I'm just too much of a baby. It is too freaking scary up there to try and cut off branches like this big around. And even if you went up even taller and were cutting off only like the 2 or 3 inches, it is still, that is scary. I don't like being up that high, especially when it's you don't have like a roof under you, feeling like you're secure. Which speaking of, I do not know how Elon Musk and those guys who are down at SpaceX in Texas, who are on lifts like 200, 300 feet long, going all the way up there, and aren't just absolutely losing their minds. That is absolutely insane. This is only 46 feet. I can't imagine going up 200 or 300 on a lift. Okay, this one, like I said, is terrifying. So we got this cut going completely over that way, so we're away from the house. The tree has a natural lean right here. So if this thing were to fall straight as an arrow, it's hitting the corner there and it's taking out the stairs. So we need as much cut over this way as possible, and we need to push the tree as much as that way as possible too. Like I said, this one is scary. Just a little bit at a time. Just small cuts, small pushes. Uh-oh, I think we're out of hydraulic. you can see we got it a hell of a way from the house, so we're definitely pushing. We're definitely going that way. Ain't got much left to cut here, so. Oh hell, it ain't even touching anymore. Oh, it's going on its own. Keep going in that direction. There you go. There you go. Woo! Scary, but perfect. Right where I wanted it to go. Right where that cut was. Awesome. Last one of the day is going to be this guy right here, part of this triple cluster. It's got a 100% lean into the house, and basically it's the branches over top of the house that I'm most worried about, just in case they fall. I don't want them scratching the roof up and stuff like that. So this tree right here is going to have to go. Last cut will probably be somewhere down around here, but because this thing has such a sharp lean to the house, we are going to have to piece this one apart. So hopefully those branches up there are small enough that we can give a little bit of a push and just basically cut that branch right there, have that one fall, cut this one some up in here and have it fall, and hopefully just get away from the house. Since those shingles on this side are already down, I'd hate to scratch or mess them up, but it is a small branch, so there's nothing else around me that's going to really interfere with me. I just need to whack that off, and then we'll piece it on down till we get down to here or so that we don't fall and hit the house. Up here, these branches look a lot bigger than they did down there. Hopefully we can just swing it over to us. We need a tune-up. Close. We gave it a little touch. All right, now this one, I think this one we just need to come over more. Crap, I don't think I was recording. Oh well, last one down. So I just put a back cut over here and made sure that it fell that way as I was kind of pushing. But looks like we got to take out that branch too. That's kind of on there holding us up. But we'll section this one down, and then like I said, everything else is pretty much away from the house, leaves wise or branches wise, if anything were to immediately fall and break off. But obviously there's not a lot we can do if a tornado comes through here and does some damage, but it is what it is. Should be good. Hey everybody, so it is Wednesday, I believe the 20th of October. Lift just left, and unfortunately it was supposed to leave yesterday on Tuesday. I thought it was leaving today on Wednesday, but unfortunately I busted my you-know-what on Monday to finish it up, because I noticed on Monday, I was like, oh my gosh, the lift is only here till Tuesday. So Monday night, with my light bar on my head, I got the entire roof done, and there was no need to bust my butt, because yesterday I came out here on Tuesday and started doing a little bit more stuff. The lift wasn't getting picked up till 12:30. So I knew if I didn't wake up early and get everything done, I was gonna lose the lift, and they never picked it up at all. They only had one driver and one truck, and they never even got around to it. So would I have loved to have split the roof up on Monday and Tuesday, and would have taken my time, but it is what it is. But yesterday I got all of the overhangs cut off there now, since we're pretty much waterproofed under there. Some of those bird blocks are sticking out a little bit too far, so we'll either have to hammer them in or kind of cut them down, so that way we can get a nice solid wall up there that's nice and flat. And again, I'll just do that over time and take my time doing it. I've noticed a couple of my roof ventilations are not exactly proper. There's 3 over here that completely aren't going to get used at all, because that's going to get walled in, which pretty much means we've got like no attic ventilation on this side of the house really at all. Because while we do have a soffit right here, there's probably only maybe 2 or 3 actual ventings that's going on in there, and then just a little bit on the other side over here too. So hopefully, as I mentioned, when we cut those big holes in the existing roof up in here, the air will go up through those soffits, go up the roof decking, go that way, go out through the ridge caps, and any air in there can go up through there too, and go up through the ridge caps of the porch overhang. But I don't know. I don't know what other design to do to get the roof to be adequately vented, but hopefully, again, that is enough, because you've got some out here on the sides, and with cut holes in there, anything goes out through the top. But I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, hit that thumbs up button for us, help us out. Subscribe if you're not already, and you guys can hit us up on NeckofTheWoods 2020 on Instagram if you need to personal message us. But that, for the first time, you guys get to see 100% what the house is actually gonna look like. The roof is done. That makes me feel really good. But I want to take like a solid week off and not do anything, because my body and my feet are killing me. An 8.5, 12 pitch walking up there constantly up and down is absolutely no joke. So I need to recover, and we're gonna get started on the back deck, I think, in the next video, because I just do not have the money right now to rent another lift and knock out the gutters for probably a week, which I don't know how long it'll take me alone, but those are pretty long pieces to be dealing with on your own, and putting them together and gluing them together. So I think, again, the next video might be the deck. And if we get this back deck finished out, which I think is kind of important, we can have something to stand on, and we can actually get the 2 rear windows in and the rear door. That I definitely need some help with though, although this window here, that's gonna be kind of a problem, because again, that's 6 feet up there, and we need to be standing on something that we can actually get it up a foot or 2 to get into that hole. So yeah, the deck is next. Again, I talked to the propane guys. They want to figure out what they want to do here. The best suggestion was they wanted to get access to the regulator easily. So I think we're gonna put the black iron pipe through that conduit, and once I get a floor joist or a deck joist in here somewhere, the black iron pipe will kind of hang below the deck joist, and it will actually run out here, and then the outside regulator will get attached to basically like this outside rim board kind of. That way, if it ever breaks, they've got easy access to it. And they're going to bring a ditch witch out here and dig a hole down over here, turn, and we're going to put the 500-gallon tank kind of behind this tree over here, so that way you can't really see it, but when you pull into the driveway, you've got easy access to fill it up. So that will be the next video. It will be the deck and the ditching and putting in the pipe and finishing all that out. And then I think the well guys are also coming over here sometime this week to put in the softener and the pump over here. So we may do a combo video there. It'll be one or the other. It'll be the deck by itself and the water by itself, or they'll be combined in a video. So until that happens, we'll see you guys next time, and hope you all take care.